Good evening, everyone who joined us today. I see more people joining, and I'm sure there will be more people, as the subject we are going to cover today is very important. Congratulations to all recent graduates from the colleges and universities in Canada, whether you are online or whether you studied online being abroad or you studied in Canada. We will cover today all possible ways to apply for post-graduation work permit. And I just would like to ask everyone to mute, just in order to we have a very clear sound for those who will join us in the record. So I am starting to share my screen. Just check whether anyone else is waiting. So, and let's start. Okay, so just let me switch to the full screen. So at today's webinar, we will discuss the following topics.
Hello.
Yes, hello. 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 I just am asking to mute everyone. If you have any questions regarding the topics we are discussing, please leave the questions in the chat, and I will be able to answer them, address all the questions at the end of the webinar. Okay. So if I see that anyone else is going to join us, I just will invite them to join. Okay, so again, today at the webinar, we will discuss the following topics. First of all, when the graduates meet the eligibility criteria to apply for post-graduation work permit, and when it is time to apply, then for which duration you can expect you will get your post-graduation work permit, how to apply inside and outside Canada, what are the main differences and what to expect when you apply inside and outside of Canada. And also I will cover the topic, which is also very important, concerning the conditions on work during the waiting period of your work permit. Let's start with the eligibility criteria. First of all, let me address the question: who can apply for the post-graduation work permit? Those are the students who studied in Canada in the eligible DLI institution. You know that not all of the programs are eligible for post-graduation work permit. Some of them yes, some of them no. You can check whether your institution is eligible for post-graduation work permit by following the link which you see on the screen and which is on CIC website. If your program is eligible, then as soon as you get as soon as you complete the program and get the required documents, you can proceed and apply for post-graduation work permit if your program duration was at least 8 months and led to a degree, diploma, or certificate. One of the requirements to be eligible for the post-graduation work permit application is that you had to maintain your full-time status as the student. And it is the requirement for each semester of your studies except the last one. There is also one exception. You could study part-time during the pandemic, during the period in between March and September 2020. So everything which was in spring term and the summer term of the last year, if you had to interrupt your studies or if you had to go part-time, that is fine. You're still eligible to apply for post-graduation work permit. And in this situation, if you had to take some additional courses in the last semester of your studies, for example, your program was should have been for like last for 4 semesters, but you didn't complete all the subjects to meet the graduation criteria. So you had to take like another 2 or 3 subjects, 2 or 3 courses in your additional term. That's fine. That you studied part-time in your last term. You could still apply for post-graduation work permit, and most likely you will be approved for the post-graduation work permit. And today we will discuss like more situations concerning your eligibility, what to do if you had a break in your studies, what to do if you had to go part-time, etc. So those are the general eligibility criteria. And as a temporary policy, the graduates who studied abroad, and if their study program started or was in progress as of March 2020, or if the start day was in between the spring 2020 and summer 2022, and if the studies took place outside of Canada, online, you're still eligible to apply for post-graduation work permit, and that is the temporary policy. We do not know like what will happen in the future, but for all the students who are studying online till the end of the current year, the online studies abroad, they are considered as the valid studies to be eligible to apply. The only condition here is that if you studied online, and for example, if you even haven't entered Canada, if you didn't enter Canada at any point, so if you started your studies abroad online, and if you are still studying and completed your program abroad, never entered Canada, never got your study permit, the condition on which you could apply for post-graduation work permit is that at one point during the studies, your study permit application should have been approved and you got the letter of introduction. So actually, for some students, there would be a case when they haven't spent a day in Canada, but are still eligible to apply for post-graduation work permit. When you can apply, when is the date from which you're eligible to apply, and when you have to apply to maintain your status, to keep working if you already found the employer and would like not to interrupt your current work. Your current employment. The point at which you become eligible to submit your application is that when you get your degree or diploma, or when you get your transcript, it should be the final one with the graduation date on it, or when you get the official letter of completion from the educational institution. Any of those 3 documents would work as the confirmation that you completed your studies in Canada. In most cases, the degree or diploma usually and the convocation date usually arrive later than the transcript or official letter. In most cases, the official letter, some colleges and universities have it, some colleges and universities do not send it, so you have to request the final transcript instead. Usually it is 2 or 3 weeks after you complete your studies, after you passed your last test, your last exam, and the graduation procedure usually takes 2 to 3 weeks. If you completed all the courses and you got marks on all the subjects which are eligible for the program graduation, then you are able to obtain the final transcripts, which has the graduation date. The final transcript usually also says that you are granted the degree or diploma or certificate and the name of it. So you have to check it on the document you got to be sure that you are providing the correct document to the immigration service. Because if you provide the some sort of the like unofficial, it could be it still could be unofficial transcript, but it should be final, as I said, with the graduation date. And it is very important because, like in my practice, they were the students who submitted the transcripts, but they were not final. And unfortunately, the immigration service, in some cases, they do not have time to request you to submit the correct documents, so your application could be refused. Be very careful about that. And even if you apply with a degree or diploma, my advice is to submit the transcript just to confirm that you studied full-time, no interruption in your studies, you were in the full-time status during the whole duration of your studies. It could speed up the process of the application, because otherwise, if, for example, you choose to apply just with the diploma degree, the officer will have to make a request to the educational institution where you studied, or check with the system which they have, that could delay the process of processing of your application. But you do not have to apply right away. You have 180 days from the date all the final marks are issued, or the formal written notification of the program completion is received. So actually, the 180 days start not from the date when you get your diploma or degree, because, as I said before, usually the diploma or degree and the convocation procedure, the celebration of your graduation happens later, like sometimes like 2 months later after your final marks are received. Be very careful about it as well, not to miss the deadline to apply for post-graduation work permit. At the same time, if you choose to wait until like, I don't know, maybe you prefer to apply in 3 or 4 months after you get your final marks and you get the letter of completion of your studies, you have to realize that as soon as your final marks arrive, you are losing the right to officially work in Canada before you apply for post-graduation work permit. And it's very important to understand that rule and regulation, because like your ability to work and your right to work in Canada during your student status was confirmed by the study permit and the legal student status in Canada, the active student status. As soon as you complete your studies and you get your final marks, you are losing the right for official work in Canada. And you have, like, if you are, for example, currently working, you have to be sure that you are applying within the like few days after you get the letter of completion or your final transcript. Don't miss the date, because you can find yourself in the position when you will be employed being out of status, and it could cause some issues when you obtain your post-graduation work permit, because for the students who work or anyone who is working in Canada without proper authorization, it could be the you could be refused to work, and your work permit application could be refused or paused for 6 months. So my advice is to think about it. And if you are currently working, don't wait until like your status expires. Prepare your application. Start your application right now. Complete all the forms. Collect all the documents, and when you get the letter of completion, just add it to your file and submit. For what period you will get the post-graduation work permit? First of all, the validity of the document which you will get cannot go beyond the passport's validity date. And this is the only case when you can extend your post-graduation work permit under the general policy. There is one more policy which was announced recently, and I will tell about it a bit later. But in most cases, it is not possible to extend the duration of your post-graduation work permit, which is one lifetime opportunity. You can get it just once under the general public policy, not the one-time policies which sometimes government implements. And but in case if your passport is going to expire, for example, in a year, and you are eligible for a 3-year post-graduation work permit, then you will be able to extend it if you apply before the first initial post-graduation work permit is issued. So it is possible, and it is your right to do that. The officers know about it, and there is an exception. There is the rule for the officers to consider the applications for extensions because of the validity of the passports. They know about it, so no worries. You will get your extension. You do not have to wait for a new passport. For example, if you worry about the duration of the work permit, if you are going to miss the 180 days, or if you are going to lose your ability to work if you are currently working. The actual duration of the post-graduation work permit would depend on the duration of your studies. If your program was the duration of your program was 8 months, you can expect to get the post-graduation work permit for 8 to 12 months. It will depend on the officer. And again, there is a good news for those who studied for 8 months only and who expect that their post-graduation work permit would be for 1 year. They hope so. Then the waiting period right now is about 4 to 5 months. So while you're waiting, you can start working, and that's how you would get this 1 year of Canadian work experience, which is so important for your future application for Canadian experience class under the Express Entry system. If you started like 3 semesters, which is 1 calendar year, you will get 1 year post-graduation work permit. If the duration of your studies was 4 semesters, which is 16 months, you will get your post-graduation work permit for up to 3 years. In some cases, and we had clients before like that, when they studied for 4 semesters, 16 months, but unfortunately, when they got the decision from the immigration service, it was just for 16 months as well. It means that probably the officer who made the decision were not aware that 2 years, 2 academic years is actually 1 year and 4 months, if we say about calendar year. And for that reason, the duration of the post-graduation work permit was not for 3 years. In those cases, you can contact the immigration service and ask them to review to review your submission one more time, and sometimes we even are able to do it by phone through the call center. Just keep it in mind for the future. If such situation happens, you can fix it by contacting the immigration service and insisting on that if your program was 4 semesters, you're eligible for 3-year post-graduation work permit. Some students ask for which duration their work permit would be issued. If they, for example, studied in accelerated mode, the program was for example, like it was the 4-semester program, but by transferring some credits, by taking additional load, they completed it within 3 semesters. This is actually at the discretion of the officer, because even on the website of the IRCC, there are 2 different positions, almost like on the different pages. One page says that the officer should issue you the decision based on the actual duration of the studies. But there is also the another advice to issue the post-graduation work permit depending on the actual duration of the program, not how long you studied. So in that case, when you apply, you have to, my advice is to apply with the degree or diploma and the letter of completion, which would say that you have been studied in the 2-year program. That's why you will eliminate the risks that in accelerated mode you would obtain the post-graduation work permit, which is less than the one you are expecting to get. There are some situations when the students studied at the private college and then they transferred to the public college. I mean, the private college, which was not eligible for post-graduation work permit, and then they switched to the public institution. You have to understand that when you apply for the post-graduation work permit, only the term which you spent at the eligible designated learning institution will be counted towards the post-graduation work permit. For example, you studied 1 year at the in the private career college, and then you or 2 years, and then you go and then you transfer the credits and studied 1 more year at the public college, which is eligible for post-graduation work permit. Then you can expect that you would get just one year post-graduation work permit. There are a lot of situations when the students had to interrupt their studies, or like at some point you cannot prove that you started in the program without any interruption. And this is a very sensitive area. You have to persuade the officer that during the period in which you were not enrolled in the full-time studies at the college, you still have been registered with the college or university, and you got the authorized leave from the university or college. So there could be maybe some email or some deferral request which you submitted to the college, and like if it was not something connected with the COVID outbreak, and if this break didn't happen between March 2020 and fall 2020, then you had to submit some evidences that you had a very good excuse not to attend the DLI institution, and that you had some reason. You had some reason to miss the part of your program. Okay, so how how are we applying for post-graduation work permit and what to expect when you apply, what documents you have to prepare beforehand to be ready. The submissions, it doesn't matter whether you apply online or you apply whether you apply inside Canada or outside Canada, you should apply online. And you go to the website of IRCC, to my CIC account. If you already have one, you should just click that you are applying for the visa and answer the questions. If you do not have one, no worries, you can create your account on the website of the Immigration Service and apply from the new account. Some students ask like, oh, like I started my account 3 years ago, or my agent started my account, I don't remember how to access it. No worries, it's okay to have like multiple accounts on the MyCIC website. Anyways, it will be united by a UCI number in Canada, so no worries about that. But you have to realize that you cannot use your email multiple times, like for multiple accounts. And if you try to access your new account with the email you previously used, it could be that the system wouldn't allow you to use that. So just keep that in mind, but you can create a new account if you forgot how to access your previous account, which you had in the past. Or if you have one and you know how to enter it, you are welcome to use it for your post-graduation work permit application. Okay. So what documents, like what categories of the documents you will have to upload when you apply for the post-graduation work permit. If you apply inside Canada, so if you are in Canada when you are applying, and it's very important to understand that there is a little bit different process when you're applying inside or outside. So if you are still in Canada while you're graduating, after your graduation, then you will see, and if you answer on the questionnaire that you are currently in Canada, you will get the following list, and you will have to complete the form IMM 5710, which is application to change conditions, extend my stay or remain in Canada as a worker application, where you are in the category on which work permit you are applying. You choose that you are applying for post-graduation work permit. The system will ask you, like the application form will ask you the details about your future employer. Actually, the only obligatory fields are the city and province. In all other fields, you can write not applicable. So you do not have to have any specific employer when you apply for post-graduation work permit. So you just choose in the section of the application which relates to the questions about your future work in Canada. You are choosing the post-graduation work permit, and on the questions regarding your future employer, if you do not have one, you just write not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, no information, doesn't matter. Yeah, the only question you will not be able to miss is the city and the province where you're going to work. And again, like you just put there the name of the current location, because it doesn't matter where you're going to work when you get your post-graduation work permit. You can work anywhere in Canada, except the province of Quebec, where you will have to apply for an additional work permit. So the duration of the post-graduation work permit which you are requesting should be 3 years. Like you can put the day of your application plus 3 years. It doesn't matter because like actually when the decision is made, the officer will put the date on which the decision is being made. plus 3 years. So for example, if you apply in May 2022, but the decision will arrive in August 2022 or September 2022, you will get your post-graduation work permit not till May 2025, but till September or October or whatever month the decision is made, valid like till from September to September, or like when the decision is made, starting from the month when the decision is made. So as I tried to explain in the beginning of the webinar, like for those students who are eligible only for 8 months post-graduation work permit, it's actually a good news that the post-graduation work permit is being considered for such a long time currently, because you add this time when it's considered to the eligible work experience in Canada you're going to obtain. But we will discuss it at the end of the webinar, like when you can start working and how to maintain your right to be employed in Canada. So what other documents you have to submit to be eligible? So as you see, the first category is the recent education transcript. Here you will upload your final transcript. I strongly advise you to wait for the final transcript, where you will see the graduation date and which diploma degree you are granted. Then there is another form, which is family form, where you confirm that you are in Canada. You also include the information about your parents and children if you have some, and common law partner or a spouse if you have one as well. So you just disclose the information about your family status and composition of your family. Then you can see the completion of studies letter. As I said, not all colleges and universities issue this letter. In some cases, you can replace it by diploma or degree. Or you can also just write the letter in this, like just write a letter from yourself, saying that, dear officer, our institution does not issue the completion letters, but please refer to my final transcripts, which confirms the graduation date and that I met the graduation requirements. And it would be enough. Because as I explained in the beginning, there are you can apply with either of 3 documents, which is the diploma degree, transcript, final transcript, and completion letter. But again, my strong advice to have at least 2. So if you do not have the letter of completion, wait for the diploma degree, or if you apply just with the final transcript, this is the best document to apply because it says everything to the officer, like whether you started full-time, whether you started without interruption, how many semesters you had, so no questions to you. Then you also include your passport. My suggestion is always to include the bio page of the main page of your passport, which contains your photo, date of birth, like last name, etc. So all the information, which is the main page of the passport, and the current document which you have. So you have to also include the study permit to the passport. Just merge the documents. It is a very or for example, if at the point when you are going to apply, your study permit would expire, then you would have to apply for visitor record and submit also the confirmation that you applied for the visitor record. And we will discuss it in a little bit later, how to maintain your status in Canada while you are waiting for the post-graduation work permit. and if you didn't have a chance to apply within the validity of your study permit. And you also include your digital photo, which is the regular visa photo you're taken, scanned, and or you can take it in the digital format. You can even take it by yourself, but it should be comply with the requirements of the immigration service. Just check them on the website. If you're applying outside of Canada, actually the list of the documents would be identical. It would be completely the same except the application form. And if you are not in Canada when you apply, you have to be sure that you are submitting IMM 1295 form. When you answer the questionnaire and when you put that you are not in Canada but in another country, this is the list you will have to get. So it would be the same. You include the same documents, but the additional document, like the difference is the application form, yeah. And because this one will be the application for work permit made outside of Canada. All other like recommendations I gave for those who are applying inside Canada remain the same. In both applications, whether you apply inside or outside of Canada, you will also have the optional documents which you can upload, which is the Schedule 1, which is usually being uploaded for those who have had military service or governmental service in the past, or if you had previous refusals, you have to complete and submit this form. There is also this section for client information where you can submit an additional explanation for the officer. For example, like for those who are applying outside of Canada, or for those of you who had some portion of the studies online, I strongly advise to explain your situation, to find the links on the RSCC website that you were eligible to study online. It was approved by the institution, and the mode of the studies was online. So I would use this section in two cases. First one is if you had some portion of your studies online and abroad, not in Canada. And the second case is when you had any interruptions in your studies or you had the part-time semesters. Yeah, so you will have to address this issue to be sure that the officer understands that you are still eligible to apply. This is the opportunity for you to defend your position, to make everything possible for the officer to make the positive decision on your application. If it's not a clear one, if you didn't study like 4 semesters full-time in Canada, or like 2 semesters, depending on the program, or 3 semesters, yeah, or more semesters, but all the duration of your program. What other conditions to work and what other considerations you have to keep in mind when you are applying for post-graduation work permit. For those applicants who are applying outside of Canada, you have to understand that if you come to Canada before the decision is made and before the post-graduation work permit is granted, you are not allowed to work in Canada, because in order to get this right to work while you're waiting for the decision on your application, you have to be physically in Canada and apply from within Canada. there are some other considerations when you get this right and authorization to work in Canada while you are waiting for the decision. So during the waiting period, you are eligible to work as soon as you applied, yeah, for post-graduation work permit, and if you meet all of the following conditions. At some time, like at the time of the application, you have a valid study permit, or you applied for the study permit extension, so you are in an eligible study permit position, yeah, when you apply. There are some situations, and I get those questions from the students very frequently. What should I do if, for example, I graduate in on April 22, but I expect my grades to be issued early May, but my study permit is going to expire on April 30. In those situations, you have to apply for study permit extension. And with that confirmation, when you apply for post-graduation work permit, you will get the right to work in Canada while you're waiting for the decision. If you didn't apply, you will be out of status when you apply for the post-graduation work permit, and there is a chance you will not get it at all. Or if you apply at the end of the study permit validity, if you choose to apply for the visitor, for the extension as the visitor in Canada, in that case, again, you can apply for post-graduation work permit, but you cannot work while you're waiting for the decision. So it's important to understand that your valid study permit or application for extension of study permit is required at the point of post-graduation application, post-graduation work permit application, in order to maintain your right to work full-time in Canada while you're waiting for the decision. There are a couple of more requirements. Your current study permit, which is valid and issued for your studies, for your current studies, should authorize you to work off campus without a work permit. So check your study permit before you make a decision, before you decide to keep working after your graduation. And during the period allowed for your work as the student, you have to understand that in case if you work more than it is allowed, so if you worked more than 20 hours off campus, then there also could be an issue, and you can be in the position when you are not authorized to work while you're waiting on the decision of your post-graduation work permit. Right now, what's happening? Yeah, before we didn't have such letters, but during COVID, the immigration service made this change. And within a couple of days after you apply for a post-graduation work permit, you can expect that you would get the letter from immigration service, which will allow you to work while you're waiting for the authorization. It is issued for 120 days. It is expected that within 120 days, you would get your post-graduation work permit. Unfortunately, this is not the case currently. Yeah, the students expect the post-graduation work permit for like at least 133 days, 30 to 33 days at this point. But like when you feel that you are not getting the decision within this 120 days, you just request the immigration service to extend this period, to extend this authorization till the time when you get your work permit decision, and usually they reply to this request not immediately, unfortunately, yeah, but within the short period of time, and you will be able to work and keep working while you're waiting for the decision. When you get the decision on the post-graduation work permit, first you will get the approval notification, and then the work permit itself would be sent to you by mail. As for example, some of the students who applied for study permit extension, this is the same procedure. So you'll just get it by mail. If you apply for post-graduation work permit from outside of Canada, so if you are currently in another country, and if you apply from your country to obtain the work permit, then you will get the letter of introduction, which will be the approval letter to obtain your post-graduation work permit when you enter Canada at the border. And this is the difference between two different modes of application. There are some other situations and scenarios which I would also like to cover today for you to understand how to proceed with your application. Some students decide that probably they would take another program and they are still unsure whether to apply for post-graduation work permit or not. You actually can apply for another program and have the right to work full-time between your programs, but like you have to be admitted to another program. And for example, you are graduating in April 2022, and you have the letter of acceptance for the following program starting September 2022. You are eligible to work full-time in between those 2 semesters if you maintain your student status. So if your study permit is expiring within that period of time, you are applying for study permit extension. This is the only way how you can keep working without applying for post-graduation work permit right away, right like on the day when you get the completion letter or when your final grades are issued by the institution. So as I explained, like if you had some deferrals during the program, or for example, like you started like for 2 semesters, then you had to take a break, then you came back to your studies, all the deferrals should be approved by DLI. So like you had to request them officially, and they had to be granted to you officially. In some cases, like I had the cases in the past that when it was really tricky for a student to get the post-graduation work permit, the decision was made to take another program, for example, post-graduation 1-year certificate, in order to be eligible to apply for 3-year work permit, because like it was likely that the student wouldn't get the 3-year work permit unless you have some exceptional circumstances for leave, for this deferral or for this interruption in your studies, which could be like some illness or pregnancy or family emergency, or like you had some other terms and conditions which could justify your interruption of studies. But again, in any case, you had to discuss this deferral with the college or university, and you had to be approved for it, in order to get the post-graduation work permit. There is also like for those students who have spouses in Canada, and for those who have the valid work permits, when like you are like the student loses the right to work at the time when you are when you are finalizing your studies, so when the final marks are issued, and when there is like when the letter of completion is issued, but your spouse actually can keep working until the end day of the work permit issued. But in order to extend it, like you will have to work, and like you will have to work in the NOC, which is 0A or B qualification, and you have to get at least 3 paychecks from that employer, and you have to maintain your employment till the decision on the on the open work permit for your spouse is granted. Okay, so this is actually everything I would like to explain and to share with you today. So I'm just stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to chat section. So if you have any questions, I will just read what I have here, and if you have more, I will try to cover them. Okay, so it was actually one question regarding the what did I mean when I said about the allowable hours of work. It means that, like, if you for some reason exceeded the number of hours which you were allowed to work out of campus, which is 20 hours per week, then there could be issues. Again, you have to understand that you can still apply, hoping that the officer wouldn't dig into your situation, but you have to be aware about that. Okay. So if you do not have any other questions, I hope that I covered all the possible situations, and in my presentation I answered like all the questions you had. We will make the record of this webinar, and we will make it available on the YouTube of IAE. If you have any additional questions, or if you need assistance in post-graduation work permit submission, we have the special offer for all IE students, and we can assist you in application for post-graduation work permit if you need one. Like if you feel that your situation is tricky. Yeah. So I got one more question, which is how to renew social insurance number after applying for post-graduation work permit. I've heard from my clients that when they got this authorization letter to work, which you get within a couple of days after you apply for post-graduation work permit, you submit it to the Service Canada, and they issue the social insurance number extension. So I hope that this is the case, and you will get one. Yeah. So it was actually one of the reasons why they started to issue those letters. Okay, will we have access to the presentation slide as well? Well, I believe that if you need one, you can request your you can request one of the representatives of IE, the one you were in contact with, or just request it from IE, and we will provide it to you. No problem, for sure. Okay. So, or maybe, you know what, maybe I will discuss it with the administrators, and we will be able to provide the slides to all who participated in the webinar today. Yeah, with the slides. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. It was quite a lengthy webinar, but I hope it was useful. So again, for all those who graduated, congratulations, and I wish you good luck with the applications. If you believe that you would have like any additional questions, you feel free to contact us. And when the video will be posted on YouTube, you will be able to ask your additional questions in the comments. Thank you. Have a great day, the rest of it. Yeah, good luck, everyone.